seven-figure remote high-ticket closer reveals the unusual closing framework to handle any sales objection and close high-ticket deals like clockwork in 33 minutes or less, in brackets, without any special background or prior sales experience. March 19th, even, 2025, from the desk of Orlando Santucci. Dear reader, if you're tired of hearing objections like, I need to think about it, I'll talk to my partner, or I'm not ready to commit yet, then this is going to be the most important letter you'll ever read. Here's why. In the next 4 minutes, I'm going to reveal an unusual closing framework that will allow you to destroy any sales objection and make anyone beg to buy from you in 33 minutes or less. And it doesn't matter if you've never sold a product or a service before. If you simply leverage what I'm giving you today, you'll be able to skyrocket your closing rate almost instantaneously. Hi, my name is Orlando Santucci, and in just 3 years, I have closed over $6 million in sales. Wow. If you enjoy The Fix and want to get access to even more good stuff, join the Fix Accelerator today. Get access to special masterclasses from Nick and me, watch expert interviews with industry legends, join live copy feedback sessions every week, and get connected to our very own private copy network. Visit thefixaccelerator.com for more information. So, what we have here is a sales letter that a reader has sent in. There's 2 bits of qualification that I want to make, put on record, first of all. Number 1 piece of qualification, this copywriter emailed this in to us after seeing us in the last episode have a laughing breakdown over some copy, which we explained why and what have you. But you said, Nick, rightly so, that too many copywriters haven't got the bravery to send in copy and get it reviewed, even though that's the number 1 way to get better. So a round of applause. The only way. Bravo to this copywriter sending their copy in. Thankfully, I'm massively stressed today and didn't pre-read this copy because I thought if I do and then I break down in tears laughing, there's going to be a problem. That's certainly not the case here. So that moved to the side. Number 2, there's a headline and lead here, which I've just read out. But between the headline, so the eyebrow, the 7-figure remote high-ticket closer reveals the unusual closing framework, there are, I would say, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8? Never an odd number, but there's 8 bullet points, which are kind of okay fascination bullet points, like a clever trick 7-figure closers use to break through the toughest objections, make it even the most resistant prospects beg to buy in 33 minutes or less. I would immediately just say those 8 bullets there under the headline is too much. At that point, like if you were reading through it, it's trying to get all your eggs, put all your eggs in one basket. It's trying to like catch too much stuff, I think.
Well, actually, just as an interesting point there, we had to editorialize a little bit, which we almost never do, and make a decision. Should we read them out loud? Because we like to kick off the episode with the copy. But the thing is with 8 bullet points, that just from a product point of view in terms of producing the fix, if you reading 8 bullets takes so long, that we were worried we were going to lose our audience reading them aloud. So that actually tells you a couple of things. One, that we do think about you. We try and make copy that we read aloud, at least, try and get to the point where we're talking about how to improve it quickly. But also just 8 specifically bullets. Bullets take ages. Bullets are a very strange thing that on a page look like I fit loads of information into a short period of time. But as a reader, or if you have to read bullets out loud as a performer, they're always dreadful because they're almost always too long and pack too much information into a list. So we took them out. We can look at the bullets in a second, but first we should just look at the central premise of the copy.
Yeah. So let's look at the headline first. We've got the unusual closing framework, and that's in quotation marks, to handle any sales objection and close high ticket deals like clockwork in 33 minutes or less. And we've got without any special background or prior sales experience. It's pretty good. I'm going to say that, by the way, against all, like, underlying, it's worth saying all of this copy is, there's good tonality. We're getting straight to the point. There's much to love in there.
Well, if you were going to analyze what's good about it, clear-ish target audience, I'm going to come back to that, but, you know, clear benefit, one idea, sort of told fairly directly and urgently. Like, we're not going to get that. You know, you read some copy where you think, what is this about? Sometimes that's good, but generally speaking, it's not. We know what it's about. We know who it's for. We know what's in it for us, if that's us.
And there's a bit of credibility as well.
Yes. So we're kind of quite high up already, and which allows us to tear things down, which allows us to be a lot more sort of granular and picky and really pull it apart. But it's important to say, if you can get this far in a first draft or in your early work, you're doing pretty well, because you've ticked a couple of the big sort of conception boxes. You've conceived of an idea that's in the right space, in the right direction for the right person. So you're kind of a long way. It then comes down to language and structure and formulation, which some of those things could change.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to use it as a platform for the first thing that we're dealing with here. And I don't know how to quite describe this, but my biggest criticism is that it all feels a little bit like copy speak. And the reason it feels like copy speak, and I'll say the word cliches, and none of this is meant harshly, but it feels like copy speak and cliches because there is a lack of genuine specificity, in the sense that unusual closing framework sounds like it's a thing, but actually it's kind of vague. And you ultimately are revealing that with lines like, this is the greatest ever thing you'll read. It's 33 minutes or less, deals like clockwork, all these. These are okay as crumbs to be used now and again.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I feel like it's my gut instinct tells me that I know I'm being sold to. I'm like, there's nothing to really hook me. I can make every decision I want about this in the first 3 seconds of reading it, whether I want that, whether I'm interested in it or not. And it doesn't feel like something that will hook me in. That unusual closing framework feels like that's where there's something, it needs there's
something we can do, Glenn. How about this?
More unique proposition.
I'll throw a what if out at you. Okay. So at the moment, the headline is quite general in its hook, and then the specificity, which is the framework, and then the specificity is tacked on at the end. Okay. So we get a vague device, unusual framework, followed by like clockwork, 33
minutes or less. Yeah.
What if we flip that? So the specificity needs to be about, why is this unusual? So if it said, I don't know what it is, so I'm going to make it up. Saying this swear word in the close of your sales pitch will increase your chances of closing by 95%, whatever. I've made that up. But it's like, you've said it's an unusual framework. What is the nature of the unusualness? If you could be specific about that, you don't need to say like clockwork, and you don't need to say in 33 minutes or less, because those aren't concerns that the reader actually has. You don't hear a good idea and just think, I hope that works in at least 33 minutes or less. It's 34 minutes. Frankly, you can get out of my office. Like, they're not thinking that. They're thinking.
I mean, to be honest with you, that is my cutoff point. 34 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. For our episodes of The Fix, I sometimes think, if there's a second beyond 33 minutes, I'm going to smash this place up. No. What you want them to think is, what's the phrase, or what's the thing I do at the end of the close? What's the unusual thing? If you can make them think that, so it's thing you can do leads to better outcome. The question they ask themselves is, what is it? That's enough. Now we can add credibility and a little bit of urgency, and we can dial back the specificity around. Does it matter if it's 33 minutes or 30 minutes? No. But what does matter is what makes it unusual. And the other change I'd make is I wouldn't call it a framework. I'd be a lot more specific. What does this actually involve? And generally speaking, if this person was on the call now, they would tell us and we would say that. Say what you just, so it'll be there in the writer's mind already. It'll be like, you know, it will be like something like saying, you're completely free to choose, or why don't you walk away and have a time to think? It'd be something counterintuitive, because generally sales closing is about putting the illusion of choice back on the buyer, not on you, not so you're not pushing. So it'll be something around that. How do we make that specific? Dial down the specificity elsewhere, and then just take some of the copy speak out. We've got a really good headline.
Yeah. So insert, we'll do a little intermission now and go into the bullets before we go back to the lead, because I think.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
No, because it will make sense, because what you'll see is why the bullets do fall down for the same reason.
You're now about to read 8 bullets out. Is that right?
I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it very quickly.
Okay. Quick game. No, just read them in your own time. Everybody at home, start a stopwatch or look at your clock and ask and keep track of how long this takes. Ready?
Yep. Ready. Read this entire letter to discover the unusual closing framework top sales reps use to close multiple 5-figure deals daily, allowing them to pull in $995, $10,400, and $14,500 in commissions every month like clockwork. A clever trick 7-figure closers use to break through the toughest objections, making even the most resistant prospects beg to buy in 33 minutes or less. The strange discovery that helped me close $6 million in high ticket sales in just 3 years. Why most sales reps fail to close deals and how to avoid making the same costly mistake. The unique sales framework that helped 20-year-old rookie break into high ticket sales and start making 10K a month in commissions working remotely. How to land a 10K a month sales rep opportunity where companies chase you instead of the other way around. The exact roadmap to go from 0 to 5-figure monthly commissions in just 120 days, even if you are starting from scratch. The one sales technique that can make you unstoppable, helping you crush competitors and set new records at your company.
Okay.
And I was going quite fast there.
Okay, so I don't know how well that's up, but it felt like a while. I mean, it's too much information. Can anyone remember what the first bullet was? Probably not.
No. Can you remember what the last one was?
No, I can't remember
what I will say though immediately, so this is why I say it follows on. It's really the same thing over and over again, and it's the headline unpacked and said in isolation, but again with a lot of just cliche copy over and over again. That can be eliminated very quickly and very effectively by, as you say, Nick, with the headline. What is the specificity? What is the weird thing? What is that unusual thing? You can't stop at the word unusual. You've got to figure out what it is that makes it unusual. If you do that and then commit to the idea, it will be 100 times stronger.
And then you won't need any of that copy speak. So the copy speak is like clockwork. Even if you've never done this, has people begging to buy. You don't need any of that, because you're talking about something that's of interest to me. And so it's, what I would say is this is a case of misplaced specificity. So there's loads of specificity around results and time frames, but very little specificity around the idea. You always want it to be the other way round. Be really specific about your idea. Now, you can then just, people don't talk in such a specific way. That's not, if you went to a bar with somebody and they spoke to you like that, you'd politely ask them to leave you alone.
Yeah, this copywriter isn't alone. I would say this copywriter is not alone, and it is in fact in very good company with the majority of copywriters generally, the industry, certainly in this space, information publishing, these long copy sales letters like this, is that something happens. It's very easy to get specific about those irrelevant details, but then you can go to your boss and go, no, but I'm being specific. But it's like, no, about the wrong thing. Like, that you don't need that. We all do it. We've all done it. I've written copy like that in my time, where that's where you get this specificity. But the sooner you can flip it,
Yeah,
the sooner you will progress. And
you're searching for specificity, and that's the right thing. But what you're not doing is searching in quite the right place. So every sentence looks very specific, but actually we're being told nothing specific about the key thing, which is it comes down to a 5-word question that you ask at a certain point and say it, and it works. You know, it's,
and then something magical happens as well when you do that, because then all of that stuff like 10K a month, all of that stuff, that's then you've got that still in your bag. If like you've got that there, and you've got this really intriguing idea, and then rather than using all of these like desperate, oh no, it'll make you loads of money claims to like support your lack of idea and lack of intriguingness, you can just very easily crumb, oh, and it could actually make you 10K, and you're like, what? I wanted to know anyway before I knew it made me that much money. And those details then add to your intrigue, add to your thing, and create a greater desire to read on, rather than evidencing your lack of faith in the idea.
Yeah, or because you've got genuine curiosity, you know, what is this thing? What do I say at the end that would work? Then you can just tell a story. Hi, my name's such and such. You know, a few years ago, I didn't know anything about selling, and then I figured out it's actually way simpler than people realize. That comes down, the key thing is just one phrase to throw into the close, or whatever it's not going to be a phrase. The framework suggests it's not a phrase. Whatever is one, I don't know exactly. I'd have to know what it was, but there's one thing you need to do at the end of your sales pitch that makes it really, really, really likely that the person you're pitching will buy. I'm leaving proof of that. I'm making $10,000 a month. I'm making massive commissions. I think you could too. And really, it comes down to something very, very simple. See how you can put all those same details in, but it's all of a sudden it becomes a story. It brings the person, it brings the credibility in. I think if I was boiling this down, trust your reader to understand and be interested in if you've got something interesting and beneficial to them, trust them. Trust them if you say, did you know that there's just 3 sentences that you can say at the end of a sales pitch that'll have people eating out of your hand, that they'll think, what are they? You know, and if you tell, not that you don't then need, you'll make $10,000 like clockwork every minute of the day in 33 minutes or less. Those things don't get people leaning in. They just think, oh, why are you saying all that? So what's this thing that you've found? You know, just trust them to come to you. So I think that's what's going on here. The copywriter kind of has a good idea, and they're almost throwing too many copy like things in at them. Like the best way of selling to people is often to push them away. Like do you know what I mean? Like you don't need to beg them to come and read your work. It's like present it in as intriguing and curiosity provoking fashion as possible, and trust that they'll come and find you. I think you just got to have a bit more faith in your reader.
We'll have a little, I think there's plenty for the copywriter to go away and do here, but we'll have a little look at the lead, just to see how that fits in with this as a 3-part framework kind of thing. But ironically, I've just scrolled down to have a look what it's about. It does seem to be about overcoming objections. Ironically, the more copy speak you put in, i.e. it can make you 10 grand, it can make you this, it can do this, it's 33 seconds, it's da-da-da, you're creating objections. You're actually, if you just say there's this way you can do this, which is really weird, and trust that reader's one objection is, tell me about it then. I don't believe you. Like, that's the only objection you have to overcome. If the more you layer on like your objections, the more you've got to deal with them. So it's a kind of fine balance, but that's a little bit mad. Let's just have a little look at the lead. Bearing in mind, we've added that specificity to the headline. You can probably have a bullet or two adding those layers to it. But then you're coming in saying, dear reader, if you're tired of hearing objections like these, I need to think about it, I'll talk to my partner, or I'm not ready to commit yet, then this is going to be the most important letter you'll ever read. Here's why. In the next 4 minutes, I'm going to reveal an unusual closing frame that will allow anyone to destroy any sales objection, make anyone beg to buy you 33 minutes or less, and it doesn't matter if you sold a product or less. Simply leverage what I'm giving you today, blah, 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 blah. So what we've got there is all foreshadow. It's all exposition. It's all repetition of what we've already said in the framework, in the headline complex. We've also done something that will annoy readers in the next 4 minutes. There's no way I can already see from scrolling. It takes 4 minutes to read those bullets. So it's not going to be 4 minutes. So you've lied. Like, that's a thing that we need to remember. It's a thing, and I know it's not intentional. It's just copy, but it's not going to take 4 minutes. It's going to take a while to go through this. You've been hyperbolic. It's the most important letter you'll ever read. I don't think it is the most important letter you'll ever read. It's just not. So in these moments, in the first thing of you trying to convince someone to listen to you, to be overly hyperbolic in that way without any real thing, without touching on the real important things, you're just adding these dangers, adding these reasons for me not to trust you and not to be engaged with you. You've just told me something really interesting. I want to read. I want to be your friend. I want to hear this stuff, but you're just telling me these things that are pushing me away.
Yes. So just don't go away from the idea and into sort of copy speak. Nobody talks like that. Like, this is good copy. Like, we're being quite harsh on the language because it's good, because it ticks lots of boxes. So it's kind of like, there's someone that knows what they're talking about. Nobody talks like that. Okay. And if they did, you would not want to spend any time with them because they're so clearly trying to sell you something and trying to do so in a way that's very, very claim heavy, rather than just saying, I know something that I think is of value to you because it's proved valuable to me, and here's what it is. Okay. That's a much just simpler way in. Just, there's a couple of like little tells in there that will put people off. Okay. So the one that would frustrate me. So I'm, occasionally have to sell people things on the phone every now and again, if there's something we're doing for the fix, or, you're doing a deal behind the scenes or whatever, you might have to do a sales call. So I'm interested. Now, it's off-putting to me to have somebody say, even if somebody else has never sold a product before, they could use, like, even if you've never sold anything, you can use this and you'll become a great salesman. I think I already consider myself to be quite a good salesman, and I'm looking for a way of getting better, sharper, more effective. The idea that somebody that's never done anything, I wouldn't believe that about copywriting. I wouldn't make a claim that, somebody who's never written a word of copy before can apply something and be better than me at it. I wouldn't believe that, because I know it not to be true. So that's just the slight, you're talking to a sales audience, people who are selling stuff and want to sell it more effectively. So I'd be saying it's a really small tweak to your existing sales techniques. You can keep a lot of what you're doing exactly the same, i.e. acknowledge they're a salesman, acknowledge that I'm talking salesman to salesman here. It's a small change. As soon as you say anyone could apply it, you almost devalue my own skill set, and you put off another barrier, which is like, that can't be true. This is a really hard industry we're in. Are you really telling me that you have something that can turn someone that's never sold a thing in their life into something that's better than I am? No, I don't believe that. I don't believe. So, and why create that objection in this reason? It doesn't serve you in any way. You're selling to salespeople. So I'd be
to clarify that point as well, because I know people go, devil's advocate would go, yeah, but they'll be like, yeah, I don't believe that. I want to know more. No, I don't believe that. Get out of my inbox.
Well, just who you're talking to here. Yeah. I'm a salesman. I'm a salesperson. Talk to me as a sales. I'm interested. The idea is interesting. So I'd be starting with something like, so you're talking to a client. You've done this and this and this and this and this, and then the resistance comes up. You've established your offer. You've done this. You do all the things that salespeople. Talk to a salesperson as a salesperson. Then you get all the objections, and it's so easy to have people who your product will be great for turn you down because they want to go and talk to their wife or their business partner, or they need a bit more time. I'm here to tell you there's one thing you can do at that critical point in your sales pitch, the sales pitch that you're doing. One critical change that's very counterintuitive that will massively increase your chances of success. And I wouldn't say it'll have them begging. I'd say I reckon it will increase your conversion rates by 50 to 70%. or whatever's real. Because I don't believe I'd even say something like, it won't convert every single person into a buyer. Nothing will. So again, I'm talking about something in a more credible way. If you say it will convert everyone, I think, everyone? Really? By acknowledging it won't convert everybody, we actually make it more believable. So it's just bring the reader into your story, talk to them like you would talk to them if you were in front of them, and trust them to be interested in what you have to say, which I think they will be with a product like this.
Definitely. There's loads of good stuff down in this, and for the copywriter specifically, like you've got loads of great stuff, and it can flip into that, and it's great, and you can do that. We're in the 80-20 rule of, like, it's your headline and lead that are going to get you the biggest changes. At the moment, that will knock a load of people off. So I would focus on that. You've got loads of great stuff, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's believe in yourself, isn't it? It's a bit like you see it so often because the industry has created so many of its own cliches, and it's how things should look. This looks like a piece of copy that would go out, and it looks how it should look. And there'll be pieces of copy like this going out. I wouldn't be surprised if this went out. It's fine. Like, that will be the thing. But if you want to really accelerate your career, really see an increase in conversion, it's making these deeper, like, without sounding like a dick, I am a dick, but without sounding like a dick, this is like pro stuff. This is what, if you can make that change from, as you say, even in that simple thing of swapping around the specificity on the non-important details to the actual thing, that one change will change your copywriting wholly. Like, you only need that principle applied to the whole thing, and you'd suddenly start to see that. But I would say that is a very professional change. Most people don't do that. Most copy will look like this, and most stay looking like this, and it won't ever, like, elevate. I'm not saying you can't have a career doing that and what have you. You can, but to really get there, these are the changes that you need to make.
You'll have a better career if you do it. That way, I would say. So I think it comes down to three things. Well, one thing said three ways: trust yourself, trust your idea, and trust your reader. You don't need to trick them. You don't need to smack them over the head. You don't need to deploy, if we added a bit of specificity here, that'll bring them in. Trust them. You've got an idea that's of interest and beneficial to your target audience. Trust yourself to talk about that in a normal way, not using copy speak. Trust the idea to be a beacon to that audience because they're interested, and trust the audience to understand this sounds like something that's useful to me.
I would also add in, just to screw it up and take you from 3 things to 4, but before all of that, trust the product.
Yes.
Trust the product or service to have something unique within it. This smells to me a little bit like, we just tell them how to do this thing. It hasn't got that kind of obsessive, like, no, this is the best thing in the world. I've got to sell you this, and therefore I can do it. Like, my excitement comes across. This is like overly engineering the excitement in a fake way. Trust the product and go to the product first. It has all of the answers for you. Like, you've just got to interrogate the product more. As soon as you've trust the product, that will then give you the opportunity to trust your idea. Then you can trust, and that's where it starts. So often with this is clearly something that has started further down the line. You need to get in earlier and trust the product.
If you struggle with that, final piece of advice: join the Fix Accelerator. It costs £10, $12 a month. It's an absolute pittance. Come on one of our live calls. They're at 12:30 on a Friday, UK time. We'll go through it with you. You can tell us about the product and we'll tell you what the thing is. It won't be hard. I promise you. It's always there. All products have them. I can smell that it's there based on the copy. So if you're struggling to do that, or don't, I mean, I don't want to be a salesman.
Well, it's the most important. This has probably been the most important video you're ever going to watch in your entire life. So be careful, because it's going to change everything and make you $10,000 in the next 33 minutes. So by 4:30 on on whatever day this is. What day is it? Wednesday. You could have changed your life. Although I'm not going to publish this till tomorrow. So
I'm going to go and change my life now by going and collecting my car from the garage. So
do it. Go and get, like, I can't believe they still let people drive Robin Reliance away from the garages. I thought they'd all been like closed and put into museums.
I drive it wrong and like, do you really?
We all know. We all vote. You drive an obscene American muscle car, but the English version. Right. That's
Cheers,
it.
everyone. Bye-bye. See you next time.
That's all for this episode. But if you'd like to get your copy reviewed, or you've seen some copy you want Nick and Glenn's opinion on, get in touch at feedback@thefixcopywriting.com. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and share.